In the days when Jesus walked the earth, it must have been so frightening to be around a leper. The disease was often disfiguring. It was presumed that there must have been sin on the part of the leper or his or her ancestors, and it was thought to be highly contagious. And if you drew near enough to get leprosy, then you would get the same treatment that the lepers did. And you just heard a little bit of what that was. They were to be avoided at all cost. The leper must rip their clothes and shout out, "Unclean, unclean," so that everyone would stay away. And should they be walking through a remote area, they'd ring a bell so that no one would accidentally come near them. I simply cannot imagine that isolation and loneliness. Then why did Jesus touch the leper? I suggest that it was in part because he knew what it was like to be one. Jesus knew what it was like to be avoided. Stay away from that man. He knew what it was like to be rejected and abandoned and sometimes isolated. What it was like to be a person on the inside with all of his thoughts and feelings, even as others ran away from him. And the scriptures say that when this leper came to Jesus face to face and asked for healing, Jesus was moved with compassion. And the Greek word suggests it was a visceral experience. He could feel it in his gut. So moved was he. And he reached out to touch the leper because he could see through the outward leprosy to the person there in front of him. And he reached out with love because he knew what it was like to be the leper. A woman that I know used to work with persons with disabilities. And she described what it was like when she would sometimes take them out into the public, and she was shocked at the amount of disgust that many people seemed to have for these persons. People who would open the door for her, but not for them, or the looks on their faces, or the things they would mutter under their breaths. Some wouldn't even see them. She brought them into a fast food restaurant, and after she placed her order, the clerk said, "And what do they want?" And she said, "Well, they're there. Would you ask them?" And some didn't even see them. And she said what she realized was that the persons that she had with disabilities, well, she was not really different. It's just that their disabilities were on the outside, easy for everyone to see. Hers were more on the inside, and she could choose to share them should she or not. Bette Midler, of all people, had a reflection that I think bears witness to that now, and I will quote her directly. She said, "I was walking down 42nd Street one day, and this amazing thing happened to me. It was July. It was about 89 degrees hot for New York, and I was walking east, and this humongous person was coming west. She had on this big blue house dress. She was almost bald, and sitting on top of her forehead was this fried egg, which I thought was really unusual because in New York City, the ladies with fried eggs on their foreheads don't usually come out until September or October. Here was this lady, this demented lady with a fried egg on her forehead in the middle of July. What a sight. And ever since I saw that lady, not one day goes by that I don't think of her. And I say to myself, oh God, don't let me wake up tomorrow and want to put a fried egg on my forehead. And then I say real fast, And oh God, if by some chance I should wind up with a fried egg on my head, because sometimes you can't help these things, you know, I say to myself, don't let anybody notice. And then I say real fast after that, I say, if they do notice that I am carrying something that's not quite right, and they want to talk about it, let them talk about it, but don't let them talk so that I can hear. I don't want to hear it. And I love this then. She says, because the truth about fried eggs is, you can call it a fried egg, you can call it anything you like, but everybody gets one. Some people wear them on the outside, and some people wear them on the inside. The truth about fried eggs is we all get them. And some of us wear them on the outside. Some of us wear them on the inside. And part of our call is to be in touch with that broken, shameful part of ourselves that we think that no one could love. And we bring that to Christ, who sees, as he did with the leper, right through to the person that we are. Often enough, I meet people whose shame makes them feel unworthy to be here. And they say, oh God, if God only knew my struggles with addiction, how could God welcome me? And I think Jesus says, oh, I know all that. Come to me. Oh, Jesus, if you knew that my past, if you knew the shame of my history, how could you welcome me? Jesus, oh, I know all that. Come to me. Oh, Jesus, if you only knew how stupid I could be sometime. And Jesus, oh, I know all that. Come. Moved with compassion in his gut, Jesus reaches through all that to the beauty of the person that he created in us and touches us with healing and with hope. And I pray that there is no person here who would ever feel so ashamed or so stupid or so sinful that you would think you don't belong here, that there's no welcome for you, because what Jesus would say again and again is, come, because it is for you that I came to this earth, for all of us, because each of us has a fried egg sometimes, Might wear it on the inside, but we all have them. And when we bring ourselves to Jesus, there he is, to look into the truth of who we are and love us. And then what? I think there's always a then what. Then I think it's ours to do what the leper did in today's gospel. He went out to tell the good news about this love he had just found. I met Jesus, and guess what? He loved me. He loved me, this leper. He could not help but share that good news. And my brothers and sisters, I think we've got to do that as well. I know that in the Catholic tradition, we're sometimes not so comfortable with that. I think of some denominations where, as part of their Sunday worship, persons are invited to stand up and share what God had done in their life that past week. And people have gotten used to naming that for themselves. They got used to looking at their lives and thinking about some of the ways that God has blessed them and then saying that out loud. Well, I think we've got to get used to naming that for ourselves as well. What has God done in my life? How has God reached out to me and through me? And I think the more we become in touch with that, the more we'll be changed. And that's why I appreciate things like the Christ Renews His Parish retreats, where we try to listen to our own life story and where God is in that. Or our small church communities and other gatherings where we try to put some words on the activity of God in our lives, because the truth is that God is indeed a part of our lives. And the more we name how we met that kind of love, the more we get in touch with the broken parts of ourselves and how God met us right there in that, how Jesus reached out to us in our leprosy, the more we will see others who wear their eggs on the outside as well. And we'll love them because we see in them who we are. And why did Jesus reach out to the leper? I suggest that in part because he knew what it was like to be one. Hello, well, hello, buddy, how are you? Better, yeah. You were not feeling very well, were you? No, I didn't think that's very much fun, but I like the prayer that you wrote. Thanks. Why? Well, I liked it in particular, Big Al, that part where you said, when you thought of others, when you said, I pray for all who hurt today. It's one thing I can do, and someday I'll feel better because you make all things new. And I do think God does that in this world or the next. So I love that about your prayer. You wrote another prayer? Read it. It's called, When No One Picks Me for Their Team. Read it, okay? When no one picks me for their team, dear Jesus, I feel sad. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm not strong or fast. That doesn't make me bad. They think I have no value. On their team, I won't start. But to you, oh God, I'm special. You hold me in your heart. Oh, Big Al, that's beautiful. I think that's exactly what God does. Thanks for sharing that prayer with us, huh, buddy? Bye. Oh, boys and girls, maybe you know what that feels like, huh? When you don't get picked, or you don't get invited, or you get left out. But Big Al's got a good point. They think I have no value. On their team, I won't start. But to you, oh God, I'm special. You hold me in your heart. And boys and girls, if you ever get left out or ignored, you could pray that, because it's true. To God, you are special. You will always be held in God's heart.